Our top story this evening leaves 4 teenagers dead and 38 injured after a drunk driving accident this afternoon. A car of 5 teenage females from local schools got together for what they thought was going to be a fun afternoon. They started their pre-party drinking in place of their afternoon classes to get ready for a full-blown party with a large group of friends later this evening. The group never made it to their evening party. Around 3:05 p.m., the car of intoxicated teenagers ran a red light at the intersection of Garfield and South Clay Street in Coldwater. The car hit a bus full of high school students broadside on their way home from school. The impact was so strong the bus fell over on top of the car. It was pushed into a telephone pole that then proceeded to fall on top of the car. Some students were thrown from the bus through open windows and sharp shards of glass flew everywhere. One student was airlifted to Kalamazoo and remains in critical condition. Another 2 students from the bus were taken to the Community Health Center of Branch County for the treatment of serious trauma. In the car, the 5 intoxicated females, 2 passengers were pronounced dead at the scene. The other 2 passengers remain in critical condition at CHC tonight, and the driver walked away with minor scrapes and bruises. No one was wearing a seatbelt. After examination of the car, a methamphetamine lab was found in the back seat. All teenagers in the car and rescue workers were decontaminated after being in contact with a highly explosive drug. After a confirmed sobriety test, the driver was taken to the Branch County Jail with her arraignment set for tomorrow afternoon. Here's what the Director of Police and Fire Services, Brett Pearson, had to say about the accident.
I happen to be a responder to the crash today, and when something like this happens, it's devastating to see. As soon as the crash took place, 911 was called and all rescue forces were contacted.
911, Cindy, can I help you? Okay. Is anybody injured? Okay. Okay, can you give me the location where this is occurring? Alrighty, we'll get people en route, okay? Branch County Central Dispatch to Coldwater Fire, Life Care, Priority 1, City of Coldwater. Have report of a bus accident involving a car. The pole is snapped. Unknown how many people are injured. Unknown if anybody is trapped at this time. Unknown if there's any fire.
Once they arrived, they had to observe the scene and check for any safety hazards. In this case, there was a telephone pole that was on top of a car which could have live wires in which they had to take the utmost care in removing.
Is it ready to get any personnel in the bus or help out with the car?
Not until we know the power's off.
The Coldwater Board of Public Utilities was called to remove the poles so that rescue workers could start helping the victims of the car crash.
We got a pole on top of a car. They're all connected. There's a transformer on the car. We need the power shut off. With the bus and the car is full of people need treatment, so we need to make sure the power is shut off before we can do anything.
Let's get our
We're good to go. DPU confirmed it's de-energized. They're just removing the pole.
There were a couple of students who were thrown from the bus that were lying on the asphalt awaiting help. One of those 2 were pronounced dead at the scene, while the other was taken to Community Health Center of Branch County for a serious head injury. Firefighters stood by with water hoses in case a fire broke out on the crash, while other firefighters secured the bus into place and opened the front windshield and the back emergency door to start getting the children out. Some of the kids were separated from the group so that their injuries could be attended to more quickly.
This way, ma'am.
They also airlifted a student from the bus to Kalamazoo who had serious lung damage from the fumes that were trapped inside the bus, in addition to how she was pinned between a couple of seats that were cutting off her oxygen supply. There was another student who died from a severe blow to the head who lied in the back of the bus. They covered the deceased with white sheets . Firefighters had to use the jaws of life to get some of the girls out of the vehicle. 2 of the 5 teenagers in the car died. 2 were treated for serious injuries, and the driver walked away from the accident with minor injuries.
How bad are you hurt?
Not too bad, just I think the arm, obviously.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
What happened?
I was just, driving down the road, perhaps maybe going a little too fast. fast, all things considered. Hanging out with friends, and
Okay.
this bus just came out of nowhere.
Okay.
It wasn't my fault. Officer, is anybody injured?
It looks like it. I don't know. I've been in the car. It's pretty serious, though.
I know.
How much alcohol have you had to drink tonight?
I haven't had any tonight.
Haven't had any tonight?
No.
Okay. When's the last time you had a drink?
Haven't had any recently, no.
Okay. I can smell it coming off you.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, the girl in the back seat was, but not me.
You use any narcotics like marijuana, methamphetamine, or anything like that?
No.
Cocaine?
No.
Vicodin?
No.
Okay.
Don't even know what the stuff is.
Well, since I detected, the odor of alcohol coming from him, we have to do some sobriety tests for me, okay?
The driver was issued a sobriety test, which included such things as saying the alphabet,
P, Q, R, S, T, U, V,
counting backwards,
83, 82, 81, 80,
walking heel to toe, horizontal gaze nystagmus, and a preliminary breath test at the scene.
Michigan law requires that you submit to a preliminary breath test upon the request of a peace officer, okay? Your refusal is a civil infraction up to $100 fine. Okay, will you take the test for me?
Yep.
Okay. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
So it's fine, right?
Nope.
No.
Nope, the test showed that you're a .24, okay? Yeah, that's almost, it's 3 times the legal limit in Michigan for an adult. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so how much you have to drink tonight?
I guess a lot.
Yeah.
A bit more than I should have, I guess.
Yep.
Wow.
So, okay, well, I'm going to be placing you under arrest for operating under the influence of liquor.
She failed the test and was arrested and taken to the Branch County Jail for operating under the influence of an intoxicating liquor.
Is there anything illegal in the car we should know about?
No, there isn't.
If we find something there, who's going to belong to?
Me?
You? Okay.
Upon further inspection of the vehicle, a 1-pot meth lab was found in the back seat.
Looks like there's a meth lab in the car. There's a reaction vessel sitting right on the floor between somebody's legs.
Air quality was tested,
We've got to get them masked up though to get in.
and all rescue workers and survivors in the car had to be decontaminated after being in contact with the drug. Rescue workers will have to go through a very thorough and specific list of cleaning regimens to ensure they are clean of the drug. The girls in the car were taken to Community Health Center where they had a decontamination tent set up where the girls will have to strip down and be sprayed off with a strong cleaner to get rid of any of the remnants of the methamphetamine drug. When the driver arrives at the police station, she will be searched again, questioned, fingerprinted, and given a breathalyzer, which is called the Data Master, to determine her level of intoxication. She will be given 2 minutes to call her family to try to explain to them what she did.
Mom, I'm in jail. No, I got caught for drunk driving. I know, but I can't talk much longer, but could you just... Mom, I have to let you go.
She then will be put into oranges, or jail garb as they call them, and she will be kept in jail until her arraignment tomorrow, unless she can post bond. There was so much that happened today at the crash site. I thank all rescue workers, firefighters, police, air care crew, CBPU electricians, and ER staff. Everybody did the best they could at getting the situation taken care of and the injured quick medical attention. This crash affected many families who lost their children, and the driver will have to live with the consequences of the choice of drinking and driving the rest of her life. I hope that this will be a lesson to all our teenagers on the things that can result from driving while intoxicated. All it takes is one bad choice, one bad decision.
This has been a devastating day in Coldwater for many families. Many were lucky to walk away from the scene with minor injuries, while others won't get to say their last goodbye. We'll keep you updated here on Channel 15 News as we get more information in.
We're going to need multiple ambulances.
Call for more medical resources.
Quincy Fire for extrication.
We have one patient that is deceased over here.
Quincy Fire for landing zone. We need to keep our guys away from the wires. It could still be hot. We got BPU too.
Another one that we're going to have to transport.
You
think about how many lives have been changed from this incident, from all the people involved in it, all the students on the bus, their families, their parents, all because they decided to drink and then drive.
We now begin to see the full effect of the drunk driving car accident that took place yesterday just after school in Coldwater that resulted in the death of 5 high school students, 4 on the scene and 1 in the hospital just this morning due to trauma. Elena Haskin, age 18, was the drunk driver who's responsible for those deaths and the injuries of 37 others. Haskin was under the influence of alcohol while driving her 4 friends to a larger drinking party that was to happen later that evening. A methamphetamine lab was found in the backseat of Haskin's car, contaminating all the passengers in the car and the rescue workers that helped on the scene of the crash. She's appearing in front of the judge for her arraignment today. Let's go to our camera crew now, who's live in the courtroom to hear the charges, sentences, and fines that Haskin faces.
The court will come to order. Let the record reflect that we are concerned at this time with the matter of the people of the state of Michigan against Elena Haskin. You are Elena Haskin?
Correct.
Ms. Haskin has been brought from the Branch County Jail to be arraigned upon 2 felony matters. Ms. Haskin, the court advises you at this time that you are charged with 2 felonies. Count 1 charges you with the offense of operating while intoxicated, causing death. This is a felony. It's punishable by a maximum of 15 years in state prison, a $10,000 fine, or both. Count 2 charges you with the offense of operating a laboratory involving methamphetamine. This carries a maximum of 20 years in state prison, a $25,000 fine, or both. Charged with 2 felonies. Count of operating while intoxicated, causing death. Maximum of 15 years in state prison, a $10,000 fine, or both. Causing death. Offense of operating a laboratory involving methamphetamine. This carries of 20 years in state prison, a $25,000 fine, or both. Causing death. Now, these matters are not handled to conclusion here in district court, but you are entitled to a hearing. That hearing is known as a preliminary examination. At that hearing, the court basically determines whether or not there is enough evidence for a trial on one or both of these matters. Do you understand what I've explained to you so far?
Yes.
Now, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything that you say orally or in writing can be used against you in court. You have the right to have a lawyer present during any questioning which you consent to, and if you don't have the funds to hire a lawyer, one would be appointed for you at public expense should the police or anyone on behalf of the prosecutor seek to ask you questions regarding these matters. Now, do you understand your rights?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about those rights?
Not that I can think of.
Now, are you on probation or parole?
No, I'm not.
Do you have any felony convictions on your record?
No.
Have you ever been arrested for any offense?
No, I haven't.
Now, these are exceedingly serious matters, ma'am, and I'm going to set your bond in the total of $250,000 cash or surety court, but you are entitled to a hearing. Right to remain silent. Anything? Now, do you understand your rights? Have any felony convictions on your record? Now, these are exceedingly serious matters, and I'm going to set your bond in the total of $250,000 cash or surety. Are you going to be able to post that bond?
What does that exactly mean?
Well, that means that you would have to post that bond in cash, that is $250,000, or you would have to hire a bail bondsman who would post that bond for you for a fee. And generally that fee is in the neighborhood of about 10% of the face amount, or in this instance, $25,000.
That I would have to pay?
To the bondsperson, correct.
Wow.
Now, do you believe that you can post that bond?
Not right away. I think I'd have to, I don't know, work on that.
Very well.
Okay.
We will schedule this matter for examination within 14 days. Now, do you understand everything that I have explained to you?
Yes.
Now, if you are able to bond out, you make sure that you're here on time, ready to go for the hearing. If you cannot bond out, you'll be brought over in custody by the Sheriff's Department. Any questions at all, Ms. Haskin?
No.
Very well, thank you. The court is adjourned in this matter and will be in recess.
And just to reiterate what the judge said there, Haskin faces 2 felony charges, one of operating a vehicle while intoxicated causing death, which results up to 15 years in state prison and up to $10,000 in fines. Her second charge was for operating a laboratory containing methamphetamine. which is 20 years in state prison and up to $25,000 in fines. Her bond is set at $250,000, and her next court date is set for May 13th. To remember those who died and in support of the families that have been affected by the crash that happened yesterday, there will be a candlelight vigil tonight at 9 o'clock on the north side of Heritage Park behind the Recreation Building. Everyone is welcome to attend and to bring pictures of the teenagers who lost their lives to add to the memorial that we've placed on the corner of Garfield and South Clay Street where the crash took place. Our prayers go out to the families affected by the crash. Unfortunately, this is an all too familiar ending to a tragic story. The 65th annual duck race is fast approaching. The fundraiser will be held June 6th this year at Waterworks.
Motor vehicle crashes remain the #1 cause of death among youth ages 15 to 20. In the United States, 12.8% of all fatal traffic crashes are alcohol related, and 40% of that number involve teens driving while drinking alcohol. The dangers and consequences of drinking and driving go far beyond what you've seen here today. This has been a dramatization of what happens when a bad choice or bad decision is made pertaining to drugs and alcohol. These events happen way too often in today's society, but you do have the choice to resist the temptations and the consequences that can follow. Here are some of the people who were involved in this demonstration today and how it affected them and the other repercussions that could follow.
I mean, it definitely was. It was a changing experience.
It really felt real. It shows me what really could happen, and I really don't want to be put in that situation because I don't want to die doing something stupid and have to miss out on everything else that's going to go on in life.
You know, there wasn't actually a crash, but I mean, when you looked around, you did see, you know, the ambulance, the firefighters, the police officers, and yeah, I mean, it was a big scene.
Once it started and we were all in character, it was strange, you know, the fact that there were two people who were dead beside me, you know. They weren't talking, they weren't moving, they were just kind of there.
It felt very real.
I was thinking about my parents, if they were here and they had to see this or get a call that something like this has happened. And then you kind of think of all the people on the bus, if they're okay, if your friends are okay. When I started thinking in my head that this actually does happen and that, you know, in real life those people would be dead, it was very intense.
If you get arrested, you're very fortunate. If you're drinking and driving, the unfortunate is if you're involved in an accident and you're killed or someone else is killed or injured, you've got to live with that the rest of your life.
I mean, you hear of somebody dying and it wasn't even your fault and you feel bad. So just to imagine actually causing that, I mean, it would be horrible.
You can never get back the lives that have been lost, and you can never recapture the innocence that's been lost on the part of the defendant.
I think that a lot of kids at the high school don't really think that an accident that serious can happen, but in fact it does. The emergency workers are preparing for something like this.
If you're thinking of drinking and driving, think about the consequences after the event.
You know, there are other ways to have fun.
Don't let peer pressure, don't let it's the thing to do, don't let it seems like fun, don't let that cloud your judgment.
I know I could find other things to do having fun, and I don't really have to go drink and party. I know I'm definitely never going to drink and drive. Just seeing that and what could happen.
It's pretty simple. I mean, you know, why would you put yourself in a situation that you know could be bad? Because you can't have fun without doing that stuff. So why would you just try to, you know, risk that?
I really want to make sure that people who I do know who drink don't get in cars and drive.
The bottom line is,
don't drink and drive.
All it takes is one bad choice, one bad decision.